Alrighty, I'm in the Bronx. Went to my church for Sunday service. Our what's the names? Our watch night service is going to be on the Zoom, and you can also call in. Our bishop preached today. I don't know whether I started a trend or not, because I got a video where I went into the city to a thrift store and I had bought this white dress. And it is actually a robe-like, a gown-like. So I had to preach that Sunday of the week that I bought that dress. So that Sunday that I went to preach. So actually it was for communion. I had got it for communion, but once I got home and tried it on, I was like, you know what, I can save this and I can preach into this. I don't know why I was thinking about some ordination. I said, I got another one. I said, I could wear this one for communion or for ordination. But didn't wear it for neither. I wore it that following Sunday after communion. For preaching. So I don't know the reason why I say that's the reason why I say that I start that trend, because I wore that like twice, and I'm saying that I guess maybe Bishop was like, well, hey, right? I don't always gotta wear a robe. I cannot wear a robe. So he didn't. I would have never knew he was preaching because it wasn't said. And I thought he was gonna preach last Sunday, but I wound up preaching. You know, and I thought he was gonna preach third Sunday, and Evangelist Odom wound up preaching. So he's keeping his word. He said that we was gonna preach more so on Sunday. So we're doing a lot of preaching. So anyway. So his message was about Jonah. I reads for him, so we went through all the chapters. There's 4 chapters. Normally he'd give me the chapters that he's reading. That he's preaching from for me to read. So he just told me it was Jonah. So now listening again to this story, and we all know the moral of the story. We all know about Jonah. You know what I'm saying? There's just specific people that stand out in the Bible, and Jonah's one of them, right? So now, Bishop was preaching, and I was reading it for him. And the thing is that Jonah, number 1, refused to do what God told him to do, which was go and preach to Nineveh. Well, go and tell Nineveh. I'm trying to think, did it say preach? Go and tell Nineveh that God is going to overthrow the city. So now, I'm not sure whether, and I read the scripture, but I know, now that I'm thinking about it, did God tell him to go and tell Nineveh? Because God didn't send him to the king. Because as I was reading it, it says in the scripture that the word got back to the king. So Jonah didn't specifically go to him. He went and preached to Nineveh. I'm using the word preach. He went and talked to Nineveh. Told Nineveh that if they don't stop their wicked ways, God was going to overthrow the city. Excuse me. So the word got to the king, and the king put out a fast. First of all, he took off his clothes and went, put on sackcloth and then sat in ashes, and then he went and passed the word about nobody's to eat, going on a fast, nobody's to eat, your animals, etc. shouldn't eat, etc. Right? So now what really got me about this, some more about this story, is that Jonah, number one, did not want to go to Nineveh. Now, when we think about it, now that I'm thinking about it, on in the story, it tells us that Jonah was angry. He went and sat himself upon, over on the east side to see exactly what was going to happen to the people. And that he got angry because of what God was going to do, which was, he wasn't Roy. He didn't send out his wrath. So now, I'm thinking about it now, and I'm saying, now Jonah must have was angry from the beginning, when God first told him to go. He must have had a thing against Nineveh. I look like something on my nose. He must have had a thing against Nineveh, excuse me, I don't be picking all of my notes. And he just didn't want them saved, right? So now God was sending him there, so now he got this anger. Now this is just my thought and opinion on the story. So now he's getting mad because he don't want to go. Now that's the first madness. So he was able to react to it, to his anger, by not going, right? So he's being disobedient to God because he don't want to go. Even though God knows and knew that he didn't want to go, because he knew what type of God that he was serving, and knew God was capable of forgiving him, forgiving Nineveh. So Jonah knew all this already. So he mad. So he like, I ain't going. Here we go with these Sundays not in service buses, man. So I smell food. Right across the street is Popeyes. Okay. So now Jonah, God knows what Jonah was doing. So Jonah does not go. He goes, get on the boat that's going to Tarshish. I'm going over there. I ain't going where God said. Now when he gets in the boat, God already got the fish prepared for him. So when he get thrown overboard, the fish is there, it swallow him up. And in the word, now that I'm reading it, because when you hear a story, you just hear it as it's said, And sometimes you don't really bother to go read it for yourself because you like so familiar with the story. So here I am reading it myself, and this is a good job for me because this gets me to really get the concept of the word, right? Not that I'm not getting it, but now that Bishop I'm reading for Bishop. So now, he's in this well, and he's praying to God, and he's talking about, how God is the good God and the gracious God and everything. Right? But in other words, don't do this thing. I would prefer to die. Take my life. So God puts a gore, I believe that's the name of the plant. And according to the way my bishop explained it, he said that it is a plant that grows up in a sense, tall and brings shade. So God allowed this tree to grow up to shade Jonah, even though he was up there acting a fool, feeling all kinds of ways. So I'm getting to a point. Just bear with me. So God still looked out for him, graciously put a plant there so that he wouldn't burn up in the sun. But remember, God knew his feelings and his thoughts. So now upon the morning, God allowed the worm to come to eat the root of the tree, and the tree wound up dying. It says withered in the Bible. So now Jonah wakes up. He see the tree is gone. And if I'm correct, he's now angry with the tree because the tree didn't do what it was supposed to do. Now I'm getting the concept of why God did that. So now, David. So now Jonah is explaining to God how angry he is with the tree because the tree didn't do what he said. What the tree didn't do what God told it to do, which was to shade him. So now he wake up, the sun beating on him, and he done fainted. And he come back, God bring him back, and now he like in a sense, I'm paraphrasing, get rid of this tree. This tree don't want to do what it want to do, what it's told to do. And so God is now telling them, okay, so just like I looked out for you and you didn't do what you wanted to do, you want me to get rid of the tree because the tree didn't do what I was supposed to do. And you think I should get rid of Nineveh because, oh, come on already. This is second bus. So you see it? Look, here it comes. See it? Here we go. Do they not know that we want to go home too? So, So in other words, God is getting Jonah to see his anger. Why you wrought? Why you mad? You didn't do what I said. You mad because the tree didn't do what I told it to do. And you mad because I want to save Nineveh because I have a gracious heart. But you're not looking at the fact that I got a gracious heart with you. Now I'm going to go back again. My other phone is charging. Otherwise, I'll bring up the scripture to make sure I got the right concept of it. Now God may not have said the same exact words that I'm saying. But I'm believing that's the thought he had. The point he was trying to make to Jonah. So now you mad because I had mercy on Nineveh. But why shouldn't I have mercy on Nineveh as well as, the cattle as well? He didn't kill out nothing because he was going, the plans was for God to kill out everything. The whole city was going to be destroyed. Like Sodom and Gomorrah per se. But God had mercy and didn't allow it to take place. So my whole point is saying that. Let me say it right quick because the bus is really coming down. We feel the same way about situations, We think that God should look out for us and be there for us and forgive us of our little wrongdoings and thoughts. But yet and still, we don't want to forgive people, and we don't want to forgive people when God had forgiven them. God saved people and bring them into the church, but because we still holding on to them ism and tisms, we don't want to accept the person. We won't let them do nothing. We won't promote them. We won't allow them to do anything, and we won't grant them ordination, even though God may told you to ordain them. But hey, our bus is here, see? right, be blessed.